looking at how it's who you know, not what you know. And like something like the Goodfellas is all about relationships, all about tapping into networks. So everyone remembers, or everyone my age will remember Kevin Bacon. He used to be the 6 degrees of separation of Hollywood. He used to know every single person through 6 degrees. He used to do a game. How do you connect everyone to Kevin Bacon? Well, now it's about LinkedIn, and it's about 3 degrees of separation, because there are 3 lots of connection levels on LinkedIn. To give you an idea how this works, I got 12,000, 11,000 connections on LinkedIn. That's only important because the quality of those connections. That means I have 330,000 second connections, 1.5 million third connections, which means I can reach 1.9 million people in Singapore, which is about 95% of everybody in Singapore by my first, my second, my third connections. You can do the same thing, so it's quality. Across the whole of Asia Pac, for example, I can reach more, 1.4 million, 1.9 million, 1.7 million in different countries. Across the whole of Asia Pac, 150 million. Having a few connections, you can reach more people. In Zurich, for example, which is my biggest market, I can reach virtually every single person in Zurich, about 700,000 people, or white-collar professionals, and basically with only 721 connections. Because it's not about the number of connections, it's about the quality of those connections, how many connections they have in the area that you want to actually connect with. So when you connect, make sure it's the right connection with the right followers, the right engagement for you, because your plan is different to everybody else's plan. So it means I can hit 124 million people in Europe, for example, because ultimately people buy people. So like Elon Musk, for example, demonstrated again this week what a genius he is at personal branding. He had a truck campaign go bad, and he still managed to sell 150,000 trucks. And everyone was talking about it, because he's a genius at personal branding. So people buy people, especially on LinkedIn. And the only part of my presentation where you need the premium version of LinkedIn is Sales Navigator to actually reach out to people and create target lists. That's called Sales Navigator. And you pay things like Point Drive, for example, on Sales Navigator. You can share data, and you can actually see who actually looked at that data. And LinkedIn is the only place you can do that, because it's all about the data already there. If someone goes to your website, or you share a PDF, you have no idea whether they actually looked at that data. But LinkedIn Sales Navigator and Point Drive allows you to do it. And that's the whole point. You can see all the people who looked at this content, because it's connected to the data on LinkedIn. And then you use, for example, scripts on Point Drive to drive it through. So you drive the Point Drive through scripts on LinkedIn. And you use target lists to actually find the right kind of people. And you do that, again, on Sales Navigator. So this is all about classic social selling. Find the right people. Don't just broadcast to everybody. Don't just market to everybody. Don't just advertise. Find the right people using Sales Navigator's data. So you have all these different filters on Sales Navigator where you can literally find anyone, anywhere in the world, for anything you want. Because the power of LinkedIn goes to 660 million professionals. And that's how you use it. Singapore, company size, industry, company headcount, everything. And then you create target lists, which actually generate leads for you on a daily basis. Classic social selling. So LinkedIn then tells you who's actually active on LinkedIn out of the people you've searched for. And they're the people you want to target. Because the other people may not even be on LinkedIn, because LinkedIn does not give active user numbers, it only gives total membership numbers, which are 2 different things. So the only way you find out who's actually active is by using the post on LinkedIn in the last 30 days, which is only on Sales Navigator. So that's why you need Sales Navigator to do social selling. You can also see who changed jobs and who's in the news, for example. And then you want to target things like open profiles. So the reason we find open profiles is this guy here, for example, Eduardo Saffron, who you may or might not know, is the second richest man in Singapore. He's also the co-founder of Facebook. He owns about 3%. But you can actually contact him for free because it's an open profile. So you can actually now all just message Eduardo and go, hey, Chris said I can contact you about my great idea which you should invest in. And he'll look at it because he wants you to contact him. Whereas Darius here has actually said drop him a line, but he's not open profile, which means you have to spend an email, so you have to pay to contact Darius. Whereas Eduardo, who's a $1 billion guy, has said contact me for free. So who are you going to contact? The $1 billion guy or the not $1 billion guy? So in summary, your reputation is on LinkedIn, just like Gladiator. And my story began in Singapore like this. I did a blog about taxi drivers, and I did a bad blog about taxi drivers. I got fired from my job about taxi drivers. So I appeared in all these papers as Singapore's most hated cab passenger. Went, oh, I'm in big trouble now. I had 2 years of experience here. I was on an EP pass. I was going, okay, what do I do now? So I then had to build my reputation up. But I realized I had name recognition. Love me or hate me like Marmite. Actually, I had name recognition. I would ring people up and say, hey, it's Chris. They go, oh, you're the taxi guy. I wouldn't have said what you said in the way you said it, but I do agree with you. And literally, I got that so many times, people saying, I wouldn't have written it that way, but you do have a point. But I wouldn't have written it in the air, in open. But it gave me recognition in terms of being able to build a brand. People knew who I was because I had so much media coverage. And I built Black Marketing, which has now been going for nearly 6 years, or nearly 7 years. And we now have 1,400 LinkedIn recommendations, which is more than anybody in the entire world of LinkedIn. Because we worked very hard and build the reputation back up after that lesson I learned about what not to blog about in Singapore. And then I appeared on more famous, more interesting newspapers like the Business Times. I just think they wanted to put a mohawk on the front page, because obviously they've never ever had a mohawk in the Business Times, ever. And I employ a fantastic team of people, and as you can see, they used to be mostly women, and I decided I need to embrace diversity. I need to employ men. So I got so many complaints from all my staff, we need to employ some men. So now we employ men as well as women. So we're very, very kind of 25 people here in Singapore, and we have global clients. We have clients in Zurich, London, Amsterdam, Chicago, New York, London, Hong Kong, all around the world. And we do LinkedIn marketing, we enhance your personal brand, we do your content marketing, we do your social selling. Because this takes a lot of time. My team spend hours and hours a day, every single day, doing profile mock-ups, doing social selling, doing content, videos for our clients across the world. And we would love to make you LinkedIn rockstars. So if you're interested, do get in touch after this, just put Mohawk into LinkedIn, and you can contact me. So just like Shawshank Redemption has a happy ending about redemption, so my story about writing a blog about taxi drivers also has a happy ending. Because I went from a villain in this country to being a Singapore citizen. And I was very proud to do it, as you can see there. I was very delighted to announce my UK passport and say, please have it back. And then I did a photograph on LinkedIn. Of course, talking about the journey from going, I was fired, to then becoming Singaporean. And it went viral with 650,000 views of people going, huh? How did he become a Singaporean citizen? He wrote that blog about taxi drivers. But it happens. So you work hard in this country, they do reward you 10 years later. And if you want more tips, you can read all 3 of my books, which are available on all platforms like Spotify, Amazon Kindle, Audible, and all my videos are on YouTube as well. And if you did like my talk, I do appreciate it if you do go to my profile and recommend me. Thank you for listening.